I'm in West Hollywood, and behind this vintage hot dog stand is a brand new tiki bar in Los Angeles. Let's go check it out. Once Tiffany joined me and we hit the record button again, it seemed to mute all of the audio, so there's no audio. But I can narrate what's going on here. We're at Tail of the Pup in West Hollywood, and when my buddy Scott Miller got us the reservation, he gave me one hint, and that was for us to look for a pickle barrel. That would be the clue to the tiki bar. I don't know what pickles have to do with tiki, but doesn't matter. We found the barrel, Tiffany pushed the button, we told them our name on the reservation, and the door to the stairs opened. Actually, somebody was leaving at the same time. It was just kind of a coincidence. But we had found the newest tiki bar in Los Angeles, the Lucky Tiki. Now, the Lucky Tiki was a tiki bar that existed years ago in Los Angeles and has just since been reincarnated by the 1933 group. This is the group that owns such iconic vintage and transportative drinking establishments as Idle Hour, Highland Park Bowl, the Formosa Cafe, Harlow, Oldfields Liquor Room, Sassafras Saloon, Bigfoot Lodge, Thirsty Crow, La Quavita, and now Tail of the Pup, and a secret tiki bar called the Lucky Tiki. And if the rest of the bar was as good as the hallway, we were in for something really special. As we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted with a really cool Tiki Tony carved mini bar hostess station. The hostess then led us into the dining room through the beaded curtain. As you enter the bar, you are greeted by a massive tiki carved by my buddy Crazy Owl and a smallish room with maybe like 10 tables and a few small booths, all illuminated by beautiful hanging tiki lamps. There's a long bar in the back right corner where you can watch the bartenders do their magic, and the place is beautifully decorated in a classic tiki style. Lots of bamboo matting adorn the walls, and plenty of tiki carvings look on from the shadows in the dimly lit bar. Once we found our seats at a high-top table, we looked over the menu. One cocktail I was really excited about trying was the Flying Fish. That would have to wait till the end though. The menu is a mix of different creative cocktails. At Lucky Tiki, the Zombie is a tequila drink, and actually the Like It Hot cocktail and the Give Me a Little Head cocktail, I think that's supposed to be a shrunken head joke, both utilize mezcal, which is fairly atypical of a tiki bar. There are also more bourbon cocktails on the menu than you expect to see, and the lack of rum drinks was kind of surprising. I turned over the menu because I was expecting to see like a little more of an offering of at least like some tiki classics. So regardless of that, Tiffany opted for the Elvis in Hawaii, mostly because it came with an Elvis bust presentation. And after reading the ingredients, I was curious to see if this was something that she would like. After being on my show several times, I'm pretty familiar with what her tastes are, and I don't know if this is it. As always, my first cocktail would be the Mai Tai, which they touted as being a traditional 1944 Trader Vic's Mai Tai. The reason for me ordering this is to get a baseline idea of the quality of the cocktails, since I know what a 1944 Trader Vic's Mai Tai should taste like. The Lucky Tiki utilizes Florida Cognac 15 year, which was eco-aged in a sea-soaked oak barrel to give it an aged sea taste. Certainly an interesting concept. We had a few minutes to chat because we were waiting for our drinks, but it's hard to say what Tiffany was saying right here. It was probably something really complimentary to me. Nobody will ever know, but eventually our drinks arrived. They dropped my Mai Tai off first, and then you can see Elvis there, glowing in blue. She was super excited when Elvis showed up, and then super bummed out when the guy was like, you can have your cocktail, but Elvis is coming with me. And then the guy took Elvis with him. But it's okay, we had our first cocktail ever at the Lucky Tiki. The garnish for the Elvis drink was very creative. It is a bruleed banana skewer. Tiffany tasted her drink, and I don't think she was expecting like an old-fashioned style cocktail. But she did say that it was good. Next up, it was my turn to dig into my Mai Tai. Look at the glass there from the Lucky Tiki, very nice. And it was tangy, super tangy. I remember going, I don't know if that really tastes like a 1944 Trader Vic's Mai Tai. But once I got used to the flavor profile, I really enjoyed like the salty quality of this ocean notes that was from the barrel aging. Tiffany doesn't like Mai Tais, so she tried it and she was just like, yeah, it's super strong. I think the funniest thing that Tiffany said to me while we were sitting there was, I don't think I like tiki cocktails. She goes, I think I'm a fraud. She definitely likes the sweeter stuff, not the tangy or spirit-forward stuff, and what she ordered was definitely spirit-forward, like definitely. I think it's probably a really great cocktail for anybody who likes peanut butter and whiskey. But we were excited to try another round because this is not exactly what we had in mind when we got these drinks, though my drink ended up being pretty good. While we imbibed under the flickering lights, we had a minute to look around and really kind of take the place in. Much in the classic style of tiki bars having a logo tiki, I did appreciate that they used their logo tiki on lamps and on wallpaper, and that was designed by Disney Imagineer Kevin Kidney back in 2004. The original Lucky Tiki opened 20 years ago in late 2004. And was it the first tiki revival bar? It was certainly one of them. The Lava Lounge popped up around 1993, and then shortly after that, I think Taboo Cove and the Venetian in Las Vegas popped up. I remember those days pretty clearly. The tiki revival was still in its infancy, and it was just a small group of people who were really passionate about this stuff. Back then, it was all about decor and vibe. The cocktails were so secondary to the whole thing. Honestly, a lot of the revival places were just ahead of their time. People didn't know what to make of tiki bars back then. It was weird to normal people. People came to Vegas to dance and party, not to experience weird retro music in a dark, quiet bar full of bamboo and odd carvings. And a lot of the classic places were being torn down at that time as well. Sam's Seafood and Sunset Beach closed. Kona Lanes in Costa Mesa and Java Lanes in Long Beach were both demolished before the modern revival even really kicked off. And even classic tiki bars like the Tonga Hut in North Hollywood were still just kind of dive bars. But one of the most brutal casualties of the pre-tiki revival era was the Honolulu Hotel in San Diego going from this to this. So I guess what I'm getting at is that the Lucky Tiki is in itself a kind of retro thing within the modern tiki revival. Its roots are deeper than any modern commercial tiki bar that's popped up in the last several years. Save, of course, for the Don the Beachcomber chain in Florida. Its legacy harkens back to the beginning of the revival, and I think that they're doing a pretty good job. And maybe it's time for another drink. So Tiffany was already scanning the menu and landed on a cocktail called a Lotta Colada, something a little more to her tastes than the first cocktail that she had. This drink curiously combines pineapple-infused tequila, mezcal, and coconut rum. I decided to order the Ghost of Jim Morrison, which combines Kapali rum with blackberry shrub and burning rosemary. Apparently the Doors recorded some songs in what would become the bathroom of Tale of the Pup downstairs. The burning rosemary put off an incredible scent, and what look at the size of that fire. We toasted, tried the cocktails. Tiffany tasted it, and I like that one much better, she says. And now it's my turn to try the Ghost of Jim Morrison. It was really quite delicious. Notes of the berries and then the funk from the rum. That's so good. Yeah, dude. Tiffany offered me to try her cocktail, so I was like, I'll give that a shot. I mean, it's essentially what you would expect from like a tequila painkiller kind of thing. Super interesting, very delicious. Tiffany tried my cocktail, and as you would expect, she didn't like it. It's just not her thing. See? Ugh. She's like, give me my colada thing back, please. And while they don't have a food menu, they do serve hot dogs from downstairs. I opted to eat my garnish for this visit. Tiffany had one too. Some tasty fresh blackberries. Delicious. At this point, we were super happy with our cocktails, but we knew that time was running out. They do have a time limit here at Lucky Tiki because the place is so small and they want to turn over the room. So we took a second to enjoy our drinks before one last round, which is going to be a two-person drink on fire. I do have to say that while there are incredible carvings in the bar, the true stars of the Lucky Tiki are really the lamps. Breezeway show watcher Elena built this one right here. Others are from Oceanic Arts and Trader Woody, my buddy Savage Matt, and a lot of the lamps are vintage. It's quite the collection. Okay, I've got a question for you. Do you think it's possible to have too many hanging tiki lamps in your bar? Leave a message in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you think. I personally don't think I'm anywhere near capacity in the Breezeway. They do also have this tiki mug cage, which features some vintage and some modern mugs. There are also little displays around holding tiki things, fun things to look at. And speaking of fun things to look at, our flying fish had arrived, and he was on fire. Look at that little guy. And after Tiffany got all her photos of him, it was time to taste the cocktail. She was still drinking her colada, so I went first. It's listed on the menu as an invigorating cocktail crafted with avocado washed cutwater barrel rested gin. And I don't know if I got much avocado from it. It seems like a kind of an odd recipe for a bowl drink, doesn't it? I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. And while Tiffany tried it and thought it was okay, she really liked her colada better. She said, that's my favorite of the whole night. So if you find yourself in West Hollywood or in the Los Angeles area and you're looking for a tiki bar to go try, I would absolutely recommend the Lucky Tiki. I think they're doing a great job, and from what I've seen on Instagram, they have plans to expand their menu to accommodate all the classic tiki cocktails. So make a reservation, look for the pickle barrel, and visit the Lucky Tiki. And get a hot dog while you're there. Next time I'm getting a hot dog. The restaurant looked super good. Also, I'd love to thank my dear, dear friend, Miss Tiffany Toth, for joining me. Next time, I promise to have the audio working. Aloha.